So my mom, she didn't start until I think her junior year. She was BL in her junior year because she moved from Missouri, and this was the closest high school when she moved down here. She was an athlete up there, and so she became an athlete down here. So she actually was a softball player, and her senior year, I believe, they went to state that year in softball. Outside of her, neither one of my uncles, because it was too far a drive for them at that point, and just a little out of the way from Rockwall, trucking it all the way over here. So they didn't go, but my mom did. She did come here for a couple years. The most encouraging thing about being and working around schools is you get to meet the kids, and then the kids tell you to the parents, and the parents get to know you. And then the parents are like, "Oh, I've heard all about you, Father," and you're like, "Oh, really? I hope it's good things." And you talk to them a little bit that way, and then by the time you're 5 minutes into the conversation, you feel like you've known them and they've known you for a while, and all of a sudden you've invested in a family without having to sit down and meet with every single family just because you've invested in the school. I love being a part of a school for that reason, because you get to be involved in so many lives of so many children, but also so many families. By the time I was in middle school, the church was very much a second home to me. It was a place I could easily be a part of. I felt like I could enter and exit the place like I could enter and exit my house. And by the time I got to high school is when I really started thinking about priesthood. And I started bringing it up to my parents, and by then I was teaching and doing retreats with the high school kids or with the middle school kids and helping lead those retreats. So it just was a form of just being around and being present, and it just was pretty easy for me to choose priesthood because it was just the life I lived up until that moment. Okay, so I love backpacking. I don't know how you heard about that. So I love backpacking. When I was living in Washington, D.C., for the 4 years I studied up there at Catholic U, during those 4 years we lived about 2 hours from the Appalachian Trail. So we would go backpacking at least once a month during our time there. And during that time, we would typically, go for 2 nights or 3 nights. I love backpacking because I love getting out and just getting into the woods and having a phone that doesn't work, something I relish nowadays. I'm Father Mark, and I'm very happy to be stationed here and working here at BL as long as they're allowing me to. And I'm going to be hopefully around as much as possible, especially at sporting events. So if you see me there, please say hi and make sure you introduce yourself, because I'm going to need a lot of help on the names. I'm not very good with names, but we'll work it out. Again, nice to meet all of you, and hope to see you then.